Hi, it's Tim and Shana from Punk Rope, day 2 of your double unders program. And we got a bunch of topics to cover for you today. Starting with injury prevention. I know, not super exciting, but we need to go over it. We're also going to cover posture, jump rope posture specifically, and jumping and landing mechanics. And we're going to give you a stretch to do and some practice drills. So bunch of things, and I know you are eager to get your rope involved. Please be patient, we promise. The rope is coming, it's coming. Okay, so just very quickly guys, if you have no orthopedic issues, if you've been training regularly, you're probably fine. But just know that rope jumping puts a lot of stress on the calves and sometimes the shins as well. The two major complaints are sore calves and shin splints. So a couple of quick, simple exercises that you might want to do. These can be done daily, particularly if you have not built up sufficient strength in these areas. So one is just a heel raise. Classic heel raise is feet close together, and you can either hold onto a support if you're feeling unsteady or not. That's your choice. But if you're wobbly, it's preferable that you do. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on Shauna's heels so you can get a good look. Now if she turns one more time toward the camera, I'm going to zoom out a little and zoom back in. What I want you to notice is that she's elevating right over her big toe. What she's not doing, and we'll show this to you to exaggerate, is that she's not letting her feet roll out or her ankles. There's no what we call supination, and that's really important. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom back out again so you can see her entirely. All right, so pretty simple prescription for this would be 3 sets at 10. And once you're feeling real strong, you can move on to the one-legged version. Now, shins are another cause for concern. And for those, we're going to go the other direction and lift the toes towards the shins so you're contracting the muscles in the front of the lower leg. I'm just going to zoom in so you get a good look. This is the anterior tibialis that we're focusing on. And you can also try heel walking. It's another way to strengthen the muscles in front of the shins. Okay, so we're not going to belabor this too much. If you have issues with these areas, we encourage you to see physical therapists, orthopedists, massage therapists, etc. Okay, good. So, couple other things before we get into posture. So one is, before we do any kind of drills, we like to warm up the whole nervous system. And so Shauna's going to take you through just a couple of really simple things. You see she's just shaking everything out, developing some awareness, pedaling the feet. That's also useful. Extending the fingers. Some people like to tap their ribs. Some deep inhales, some deep exhales. Good. Closing the eyes, rolling the shoulders. So shoulders going back, shoulders going forward. Now I'm just following her. Now everyone has a slightly different style. Rotation, pivoting on the balls of the feet. This is called empty coat sleeves. The arms are swinging totally relaxed. Another shakeout. some gentle bounces, and then fast feet. So goal here is to imagine you're on hot coals. Nobody wants to be on hot coals, so you want to pick those feet up as quickly as you can. Go, 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 go. Doesn't have to be for very long, but good way to fire up the whole nervous system, wake yourself up. Speaking of waking up, sometimes we also like to slap ourselves in a nice, respectful way. You'll see a lot of fighters do this before they engage in competition. Okay, awesome. So, speaking of the nervous system, one of the things that can get in the way of successful jumping is our brain. And the way it gets in the way typically is it worries and it gets distracted and preoccupied, and then that leads to tension, and the tension leads to misses, and the misses lead to frustration, and before you know it, you don't want to do this anymore. So what we're suggesting is find a place of peace, calm, and relaxation, and do whatever it takes for you to get there. If it's yawning, yawn. If it's closing your eyes and visualizing a serene scene at the ocean, do that. If it's chanting, I know Shana's getting something special. Aw, yeah, if it's hugging your favorite stuffed squid, then do that. If it's a mantra, say that. Okay? Really, whatever it takes to get you there. And if you do find yourself getting frustrated during a jumping session, just take a time out. You know, take a minute. Don't force it. Take a minute and come back to this place of Zen. All right, so that's actually probably more important than a lot of people realize. So guys, we're going to go to posture, and we're going to start at the bottom of the chain, which is your feet. So feet are going to be close together. Now the big toes don't have to touch, but if that's comfortable for you, that's fine. However, we would suggest your feet not be too far apart, because then there's a good chance the rope will catch on the edge of one or both feet. Your ankles are relaxed, your knees are relaxed, your hips are relaxed. Does that mean you're in a deep squat? No, that would not work, because what comes down has to come back up. It would be way too much effort. But what it does mean is you're not hyperextended, there's no tension, the joints are soft. Now working up the chain, we're going to take our elbows in tight, and we're going to give you a couple options here. So elbows are close to the ribs. Do they have to be touching? No, but if they are too far apart, you will be loading your shoulders, and the shoulders will fatigue quickly. So we'd like the elbow below the shoulder, and there's a couple of different jumping styles. You can externally rotate at the shoulder, meaning that your arms are out to the side a little bit, like so. Shana's forearms are angled down, so they're not parallel to the ground, but they're close. The other position some jumpers like is to have elbows back, but still hands forward. Regardless of which of those you choose, hands are always either level or forward of the hips. Okay? You do not want your hands behind your hips. That's going to put your weight in your heels. Now, speaking of your heels, you want your weight in the balls of your feet. So you're slightly pitched forward. Does that mean your heels are off the ground? No, not necessarily. But we definitely don't want our weight in our heels. You're ready to spring up. Right? So if you're in your heels, it's going to be difficult to do that. Working further up the chain, shoulders are down and relaxed. And if it feels good to squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit, that's fine. You don't want to waste any energy, so no exaggerated contractions. Your neck is aligned with your spine, and For most people, they're going to gaze out at eye level. However, there will be situations where we might encourage you to look down, maybe 5 or 6 feet in front of you, not straight down, right? Where your head goes, the rest of your body goes, but you might gaze down. So you might be able to do this just with your eyes and not have to tilt your head too much. You certainly do not want to look up. That's not going to work very well. It's going to put your weight in your heels and cause a lot of tension. Okay? All right. So there is our posture. Now, the next step is to jump. And so Shana's going to show you what a nice light, low, relaxed jump looks like. And I'm going to zoom in a bit. You'll notice she's barely leaving the ground. And when we do single unders, that's the kind of jump that we want. One thing you can do is listen to your feet. And now Shana's feet are a little loud because she's wearing 5 fingers and because she's on a wrestling mat. But you can listen to your feet if you're on a harder surface and try to minimize the sound that you make. While you're practicing jumping, you also want to maintain good posture in your upper body, and you want those elbows in tight as if you were jumping with a rope. So we call this shadow jumping, right? All right, so we're going to pause for a second, and we want you to try this with Shana. And what we're going to do is 3 bouts of 30 seconds. And we discussed different rest periods. We're actually going to just rest for 15, if that's okay. And I'll be saying ready, set, go. And as you do these jumps, just see if you can be very mindful of your posture, how you leave the ground, how you land, and see if you can improve with each successive bout. Okay, guys, so ready, set, and go. And this is 30 seconds. Totally relaxed. Soft landings. 15 seconds left, imagining you've got your rope. And we have 3, 2, 1, and rest. Rest and recover. Good. That's awesome. Now, if that was too much for you, feel free to cut it back a little bit. That is fine. And we're going to move on to our second bout. Okay, and that is in 3, 2, 1, and go. So let's see if we can do a little better this time, maybe a little more fluid. Keep that core engaged, elbows below shoulders, soft ankles, knees, and hips. They're cushioning you as you land. Nice job, you guys. 10 seconds to go. We have 3, 2, 1, and recover. Good. That was awesome. Beautiful. All right, we got one more bout. So we always make the last one the best one. All right, so we get back into our good posture. Feet close together, elbows in tight. And we're going to go for the final time in 3, 2, 1, and go. So this is important because it will carry over to double unders and any of your rope jumping steps. So important to nail the fundamentals. 10 seconds. Doing good, guys. You got 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice. Okay, so just shake everything out.
See where you travel.
Yeah, and you can see where you travel. So Shauna's got a piece of tape. It's matte tape, so it's not, it's not colorful, but she can still see it. And you can always take a look at where you start and where you end up. It's a good way to build some awareness of what your body is doing when you go up in the air and what happens when you come down. So what we're going to do, guys, to wrap this up is a calf stretch. That was 1.5 minutes of shadow jumping. So after any any jumping routine, whether it's with or without the rope, we want to stretch out those calves. Okay, so we're going to take 1 foot forward, and that front knee is going to bend and the back heel is going to stay down. And we're going to do these for 30 seconds each, and we encourage you to do the same. Often folks rush their stretches and don't use a timer. I'm just using a Timex Triathlon watch. 15 seconds to go on this side. So the back heel needs to stay down. And we have 3, 2, 1. Good. And then we're going to switch it to the other side. Now, if you have a wall or a partner, and Shauna's got a bar that we use for our resistance band training. That works pretty good too. Toes are straight ahead. Always check the back foot, make sure that it's not spinning out, turning to the outside. So feet are parallel. 15 seconds. Got a nice forward lean. And you have 3, 2, 1, and rest. Beautiful, guys, beautiful. So just a quick recap. We went over a little bit of injury prevention, strengthening the calves, strengthening the shins. We covered sorry about my watch. We covered a pretty simple, what we call a nervous system warm-up. We talked a bit about staying calm and relaxed and being zen. We went over posture, all aspects of that. You can certainly review this video again if you find that helpful. And then we did some shadow jumping. And we wrapped it up with a with a calf stretch, keeping that back heel down. And so now your homework is to review this again, right? Make sure you understand all the elements of good posture, the nervous system warm-up, and then the active part of it is going to be to practice the shadow jumping, that 2-footed bounce with elbows in tight, with those light, low, soft landings, with no rope, no rope yet, for 30 seconds and 3 sets. And don't go crazy with this, but you could certainly do this one more time today, maybe 2 more?
Depends.
Shana says it depends. It does depend. It does depend. Okay? Certainly one more. Give it a little rest, then make sure you do your calf stretch. And then we're going to see you tomorrow for day 3. Okay? Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.